Hello, welcome. Let's get started. The way you're going to get started is by first putting your email address into the box over there or over there and just hitting enter. And then that's going to get your ID and be able to tie your answers to the questions to your ID so that we'll be able to connect back with you. Why are we doing this? The goal here is to explore your community, your neighborhood, and to identify the different parts of your community, the different people in your community, the different places in your community, so that we can get you as much exposure as possible. So the more that you can share or think about the people, the places, the activities, the organizations, etc., that make up your neighborhood and community, the better. So just first step, put your name into the box and then click enter, and that should get us started. So you might be doing a community analysis here, or you might be doing a neighborhood, but it's nice to know what are the other neighborhoods that make up the community. You're probably a neighborhood booster for a specific neighborhood, but what you could do in this box is just put in what are some of the other neighborhoods, because we're going to want to activate all the neighborhoods in the community, right? In some cases, we're going to be sharing with community leaders, community businesses, etc. So we might as well have all the neighborhoods in there as well. So share what neighborhoods there are and then click submit, and you can move on to the next question. So the question is, what types of people in the community should we be inviting to be part of the Who's Who? The goal of the Who's Who is to connect all the doers, all the community leaders, business leaders, political leaders, media leaders, civic associations, churches, sports leagues, anybody who's running something, anybody who has influence. We want to invite them at least to be part of the Who's Who so that they can introduce themselves and get more exposure. So right now we're looking for types of people. Don't necessarily worry about names of people, just who are the people in the community, whether you know them or don't know them, that we want to invite. As we invite, we're going to announce that you're the booster for your specific neighborhood, so it's a good from the very beginning. But who are the people? Might be 10 people, might be 25 people, might be 50 people in the community, types of people, right? Their categories, their titles, their organizations, principal of the school, director of the preschool, pastor of the church. Who are the people that we want to invite and get connected with you? So following up on the last question, what are the pillars of the community? When I think of the pillars, it's the sort of organizations, institutions that make up the community or neighborhood. So this would be civic associations. This would be churches. This would be schools. This would be shops that really are kind of the part of the community. This would be community activities. This would be dog parks. This would be anything that kind of makes your community or your neighborhood sort of what it is. Just enter those in here, and then we'll work backwards to try to get you connected with those community pillars and get those community pillars connected with your website. All right, so now we want to get specific. So we do want to know specific names, titles, and people that we want to introduce you to. Just imagine that I'm your assistant, and imagine that you're saying, Fraser, I want you to introduce me as the neighborhood booster to these specific people. And we want to invite those people to add themselves to the Who's Who. We want to add them to our list for the community newsletter. We want to let them know about the community calendar. Who are the people? You may have all of them, right? You might have an incredibly awesome Rolodex of the people in the community, or you might have 10% of them. But give me who you have that you're comfortable with me introducing the site to. All we're really going to do is send them the link to the site and then say, here, add yourself to the Who's Who, add yourself to the community calendar, and we'll send you, we'll keep you on the loop or on the list for the community e-newsletter once we start publishing it. All right, so now what we want to do is think in terms of giving you exposure. What are the places in the community where we could put a flyer or a sign that would get you a lot of exposure? Don't worry right now about whether they'll say yes to it. We don't want to worry about whether they'll say yes to it. What we want to do is we want to be able to think a punch list. Here are the places where we would like to put up a flyer. It could be the coffee shop. It could be a bulletin board. It could be at the library. Where would we physically Where would we like to put stuff up that has the QR code for the neighborhood webpage, that has your information, etc.? What are the places? Assume that we will get yeses. Where would we want to ask, or where would we want to post? Okay, this is similar, but it's online. What are the online Facebook groups? What are the web pages? What are there community calendars? What is our punch list for places where we would like to announce certain things? Okay, so now we want to focus on activities. So we're going to have a community calendar that people are going to be able to add themselves to. But it's nice to know what are the important, popular, successful events that go on in the community throughout the year, right? They might have a regular Easter egg roll. They might be a community yard sale. There might be a farmer's market. There might be a barbecue. What are the different activities in the neighborhood that we can be associated with? And certainly we want to reach out to the community organizers for those communities and get them involved. So one of the things we want to do is elicit and ask for photos that we can add to the website, right? So we can do that on Nextdoor, and we can say, submit your photos to be included on the Neighborhood Booster website. But you can also take a picture. We can ask the who's who to submit photos, but what would be the photos that would really make the web page look like your community? All right, you may not want to answer this, but you can or can't, depending on sort of who you are. What are the other real estate agents? If you're a real estate agent, you don't have to answer this, but there will likely be a real estate agent for every neighborhood in the community. So who are the real estate agents that you think we should invite? If you don't want to answer that, that's fine. If you want to answer based on people in your company or people in your team, that's fine too. Just be aware, I am going to be inviting real estate agents. That's part of the gig here, is to get real estate agents for each of the different neighborhoods. So if you'd like to, you can identify who are some people that we should invite. Another question is, what are some businesses that are active in the community that might be good sponsors? Now, they can join the Who's Who for no fee, but if they want more exposure as a community sponsor, we can give that to them, and you might be able to be the one who introduces them to the community, to the neighborhood, etc. So just if there's any business that you think would typically be a good sponsor, put them here. This is the last question, maybe. But really what it is we're going to give you an ongoing list of content. Some of these will be announcing like calendar activities. Some of these will be announcing new businesses that have added themselves to the Who's Who. Some of these will be youth entrepreneurship activities. But there's also things like questions, right? Like, hey, submit a photo to be included, or what's your favorite part of the community? And these are things like, I think of these as posts on Nextdoor or posts on Facebook. So think about yourself. What is the content that you would really, really love to have, that you would like to post every day, every week on Nextdoor or on Facebook? It's just helpful for me because we can give you lots and lots of content, but if you don't post it, then it doesn't go anywhere. So what kind of posts or content would you be really excited about having access to in order to be sharing and having it be part of your social media or your marketing strategy?